My name is Ashton Griffin. I'm 24, and I've been playing poker for 10 years. Um, Grew up in Florida, started playing online when I was 14, and I didn't start winning until I was 18. I transitioned from no limit hold'em to PLO around 18 or 19, and was one of the biggest winners ever in Parliament, Omaha, online. When I was younger, I had horrible bankroll management, and I would lose 80% of my net worth very frequently. I would estimate that I've lost over half my net worth, maybe 30 different days in poker. When I was younger, going up playing poker, I felt like winning and losing money really wasn't an issue. The amount of money I won was a number and not something I can convert to actual value or convert to improving my overall life. So poker was easy for me it was easy for me to go up through the ranks because I was so detached from the actual value of money, and I had no fear at the tables. Whenever I have time to think about where I am in my life, I always tell myself that no matter what happens, you're one of the luckiest people in the world. And I'm not saying that that has anything to do with me being great. It means that I'm fortunate in life I'm blessed, spiritually. I feel like I'm just lucky to have great opportunities and to be free. It's something that I take for granted at times and other people take for granted, but being free and having the ability to do whatever you want and to think freely and go places and do things that are, and being open, I feel like that is makes you lucky from the get-go. When I won a lot of money at a young age, my select few of friends would know and my family would know, but it wasn't something I talked about with a lot of people and outside of the blog I had. So it was hard for me to learn what $1 million could buy me, or learn how to better pave my future financially and be more secure. When I was 14, I started wrestling, and I've done it for 10 years now. And I think wrestling was one of the biggest factors for me being successful at poker. Mentally, I was tough at the tables, and the discipline I got through wrestling really converted well over to poker, as far as putting in the hours and dedicating myself to something. I felt like both wrestling and poker went hand in hand, and when I needed a break from one thing, it was always there. In wrestling, you'll often find yourself hitting rock bottom, losing at the end of the year, falling short. There's always someone better than you. I found that emotionally, the hardest hits I've ever taken were the losses I've had in wrestling, and the practices I've had in wrestling where you go in for 2 hours a day and you commit yourself 100%, and the love that you share with your teammates day in and day out was a big stepping stone for my growth. It also taught me how to learn how to deal with people, deal with my teammates who were oftentimes struggling, or they were also winning, and sharing that experience with them was something I'll never forget. In poker, you can structure your friends however you want it. If you feel like you can find happiness through your friends winning, then you should be more concerned with being there through thick and thin, and and experiencing the lows with them as well. As far as superficiality is concerned, I think it's up to the person to pick and choose the friends they interact with, and I find myself with a lot of acquaintances in poker, but very few of those acquaintances I would consider true friends. The true friends I have, I know them very well, and they would be friends with me no matter if I had $0 or won $1 million one drop. My true friends in poker are Sam Feinberg, Jimmy Ginther, Aaron Jones, Andrew Lichtenberger, and several other people who love me at any cost and are always open to talk about anything and are great people. Some of the best people I've ever met in my life in wrestling in the 24 years I've been alive. The reasons why I've been successful as of recently at 1020, some 2550, and a lot of 510 is that I'm betting smaller on the river with my bluffs because I can rep a thin value hand, and I find that people fold the river at a very high rate. So the reason why I'm winning right now is because I'm bluffing the river successfully. In earlier years, it would be me running really well at 200, 400 when the games were much different. They were more loose pre-flop, and you could short stack the game, so you were getting a lot of dead money in the pot. And my win rate during that time period where I could short stack 200, 400 was really well. And you can never forget how important running good is. It is the key defining factor in Omaha where the variance is so big. In 2011, when I did 70 miles in 24 hours, I was really confident that I was going to win because of my experiences in wrestling. And in high school, I ran cross country and track. I ran a 4:55 mile my freshman year of high school. So I had a good background in running. What led me to believe that I could run such a distance was actually the wrestling I've done. My body has never gotten to the point where I've given out or my knees have just made it to the point where I couldn't move. So I felt, although I never ran a long distance prior to that, the maximum I've ran before that was maybe 20 miles. I felt like I was 95% to win going into the run, which is why I offered him 3-1. I was scared to lose, but I felt like there was no other outcome that was going to happen besides me winning. So, and it wasn't a thought that ran through my head at all times. It was me being relaxed and remaining cool and getting the job done. Those were the things that ran through my head during the run. The mindset I have with poker that has made me successful is being open-minded, being humble, and really studying the hands after I'm done with my session, finding the spots where people are doing things wrong and exploiting that in the future, and maybe finding the spots where I'm doing too much of something or betting too big when I'm bluffing, because if you can get away with a smaller amount, it's always better to bluff with a smaller amount. So although you may be a winning poker player, there's always room for improvement. Poker is a very complex game, and there are a lot of options and a lot of branches of options that you go through throughout a hand. You're also processing information about hands that are being played or have been played, tens of thousands of hands. So being able to intake all that information in and give your best guess is something that can only be learned through trial and error. You know, putting in the hands and practicing it over. And also you're doing it a lot of the times at 6 to 8 tables, so having a sharp brain and a brain that is made for intaking a lot of information and making good guesses is something that I guess people would call talent, and I guess you can only be born with it to be good at poker, and it still requires a lot of effort away from the table, even if you do have the talent. I've had a few talks about the running bet with some people, and the bottom line is I regret making such a large bet with someone I was friendly with, and it was a mistake on both of our parts. Something I would not do again, and I hope that Hasib is finding his path and has found happiness in whatever he's doing nowadays. I'm not sure what he's doing, but I don't hold any resentment towards him. I realize he thought that I was going to fail and either get injured or be really hurt, but it is what it is, and it's something I'm going to learn from to not do again, and to just keep an even keel and maintain the peace with friends. 10 years after I started poker, I find myself feeling the need to provide for my family, my sisters and my mom and my dad and my stepdad. And my immediate family is the biggest motivation I have right now. I also feel that I'm going to have kids and a wife at some point in the future, and providing for them is going to be the number one priority as well. Knowing that's a lot of people to take care of, and I have an ability to make a lot of money at poker, it really motivates me to get the job done and do it while it's still profitable, and while there's a lot of money still to be made. I know that it might not be available in 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, 3 years, who knows, where the games are dominated by robots, or it's illegal in every country. I just don't know, so I put in the work while it's available to me.